Hello everybody, welcome back to Docshala. So today our topic of discussion would be border molding a mandibular custom tray. So let us now look at a question from Dental Dex. So when border molding a mandibular custom tray that will be used for final impression with this, the distolingual extension is limited by the action of which muscle? So the question is that, and the options given are: is it superior constrictor muscle, is it masseter muscle, is it lateral pterygoid muscle, or the buccinator muscle? So to derive the answer, let us just look at what all the extensions that limit the extension of the mandibular custom tray. So coming to the border molding. So what is border molding? It is nothing but shaping of the border of an impression tray by functional or manual manipulation of the tissue adjacent to the borders to duplicate the contour and the size of the vestibule. Okay, so what is the purpose in doing this border molding? The purpose is that it helps in the manufacture of full dentures, and it helps in obtaining the peripheral seals, namely a tight contact between the full denture base and the mucosa around the periphery of the dentures. So when this tight contact is achieved, we'll able to limit the rocking of the denture. Okay. So what are the materials that we use commonly in border molding are gutta percha, zinc oxide eugenol paste, low fusing compound, and methyl resins. So what are the two methods that we use are sectional method, which is done by green stick compound. I think most of you are aware of this, what is green stick compound, because it is the most commonly used method, and a simultaneous method. This is done by polyether. This is not commonly used. Okay. So this is a custom tray. So you know how we prepare a custom tray. We take a preliminary impression from the patient. After that, we pour a master cast. So this is the master cast, right? Okay. On this master cast, we have prepared a wax impression. Okay. On this wax impression, we pour some acrylic to make our custom tray, and we keep a handle so that it will be easy for us to keep it in the patient's mouth and take it out for preparing a secondary impression, right? So this is how the green stick compound looks on a custom made mandibular tray. You can appreciate this, right? So let us now look what are the muscles which determine the borders. Okay, so the distobuccal extension. So this is the distal side of the mandibular denture, and buccal extension. So this is the buccal side. So distobuccal extension is by the position of the masseter muscle, as you can see. Okay, then coming to distolingual extension. So distolingual extension is, this is the distolingual extension. It is limited by the action of superior constrictor muscle. Okay, and coming to the buccal vestibule. So this is the buccal vestibule thing. So this buccal vestibule is determined by the buccal shelf area. Okay, so this is the buccal shelf area. So a proper extension into this area provides best support for the mandibular denture. Okay, coming to the lingual frenum. So the lingual frenum, proper borders should be established with movements of tongue. Genioglossus muscle is the muscle which influences the flange during the normal movements of the tongue. So the main muscle which influences the lingual frenum is genioglossus. Then coming to the mentalis muscle. So the mentalis muscle, you can appreciate that the mentalis muscle will elevate the mandibular anterior labial area unless this border is established accurately. Okay, and the retromolar pad. So this is the retromolar pad. It marks the distal termination of the edentulous ridge structure. It needs to be covered for support and retention. Okay. Then coming to the mylohyoid area. So this is the mylohyoid line, or the mylohyoid area. So flange in this area must accommodate the movement of which muscle? Mylohyoid muscle in while swallowing. Okay, so this should also be determined. And coming to the retromylohyoid area. Retromylohyoid area is just which is backward to that of the mylohyoid. So we can see that this is the mylohyoid area, right? So this is the retromylohyoid area. Okay, it is limited by the action of palatoglossus muscle, and inferiorly by lingual slip of the superior. You have seen in the previous image the superior constrictor muscle fibers are this. So lingually it is by superior constrictor muscle, and posteriorly it is by the palatoglossus muscle. Then coming to the final impression. So these all muscles help in determining the borders of the mandibular denture, and this is the final impression with the ZOE, right? So the main points we should remember from here is that palatoglossus, superior pharyngeal constrictor, mylohyoid and genioglossus muscles are influential in bordering the lingual border of mandibular impression for an edentulous patient. So the main four muscles which we need to keep in mind while determining the lingual border of mandibular denture is, one is palatoglossus, superior pharyngeal constrictor, mylohyoid muscle, and genioglossus muscle. Okay, so let us come back to the question now. So what we have seen is that what is the muscle which limits the mandibular denture in the distolingual direction, right? So superior constrictor muscle, as we have seen in our explanation, it limits the denture distally, right? And also it is present lingually, right? In masseter muscle, no. Lateral pterygoid, no. Buccinator, no. So the answer is superior constrictor muscle. Hope it is clear for you now. If you like our video, do subscribe to our channel, and you can also follow us on our Instagram handles. So at Docshala for dental content and at Docshala Medical for medical content. You can also find us on our Telegram. Thank you and see you again in the next session.